Y'all, what is up? It's Alisha. So today I'm bringing you all a hair tips video on pretty much how to keep your hair healthy and growing and just flourishing pretty much even whenever your hair is braided up and put away under a protective style. So I have pretty much been protective styling now for going on a month now. I plan to continue to do so as well throughout the rest of the spring and throughout the summer because for one, I'm pregnant and I'm about to go ahead and have a baby soon, and two, I just feel more comfortable just keeping my hair kind of away and away from the elements throughout the summertime because it can be really hard to manage my natural hair throughout the summer and the spring. I figured a lot of you guys are probably going through the same thing as far as keeping your hair protected throughout the spring and summer. So I definitely wanted to go ahead and share with you all my personal tips on how I keep my hair really healthy and growing and not damaged throughout protective styling. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The first tip that I have for you all is to make sure that you start off on a fresh foundation. I have learned, y'all, like I have done tons of styles to my hair, like sew-ins, wigs, all kinds of stuff, and I have learned that the best way to keep your hair super healthy throughout the month or two that you have your hairstyle in is to start off with a fresh foundation, and that means making sure that your hair is clarified. You do a good shampoo, conditioning, deep conditioning, the whole shebang before getting your hair installed or braided up or whatever you guys are doing, because that way you're starting off on a clean slate. If you are starting off on super dirty hair, or if your hair wasn't freshly washed, all you're doing is just building up more buildup. Your hair won't be growing, your scalp will be dirty, like it just isn't a good look, and for one, it will smell really easily, and two, you just really want to make sure that your scalp is at its cleanest, because that way it has the foundation to grow and grow thick and long and healthy. And then also I like to go ahead and add a moisturizer to my hair before getting my hair braided, because that way I have locked in moisture. So I will make sure that I apply a leave-in and a moisturizer before getting my hair braided, because that way my hair has tons of moisture to last me throughout the protective style, and I'm good to go. Like that's pretty much all that I need, and my hair stays super moisturized, does not get dry at all. Starting off on a fresh foundation is definitely the #1 key in my personal opinion to having your hair just grow and be healthy in a protective style. My second tip is definitely to go to a stylist, y'all, that knows and is familiar with natural hair. Trust me, from experience, I have used to be one of those girls, like back in the day, that would go to the girl that was just inexpensive, didn't cost much money, and just she could braid, and that was about it. And let me tell y'all, there's a huge difference between a person that just braids hair and does sew-ins and all that stuff, and a person that's really familiar with natural hair. Because people who know natural hair knows what products to put in your hair, they know what tools to use, like they know how to really keep your hair healthy and growing while braided up. But a regular stylist that doesn't really know much about natural hair, y'all will see a difference, I promise. Like they use like really small combs, they just don't care at all. All they want is a check, and that is it, and that's pretty much all they really care about. So they'll braid tight, they don't really care. And trust me, you'll see a difference, because your hair will be much more damaged and just brittle and dry if you go to somebody that isn't really familiar with natural hair. So yes, y'all, trust me from experience, go to somebody who is familiar with and knows how to grow and works with natural hair. In the end, your hair will be much thicker, much healthier after taking the sew-in or the wig or the braids or whatever it is down, in comparison to going to somebody who isn't familiar with natural hair. So yes, trust me, y'all, I promise, I'm not lying to y'all. Go to somebody who knows what they are doing. My third tip is to make sure that you're washing your hair at least once every 2 weeks. And this way, you guys, that would help to remove any extreme buildup. I'm sure we all hate whenever our hair has a ton of buildup in it. So washing your hair at least, I would say once every week, but at least once every 2 weeks helps to get rid of that buildup. And it also helps to reduce any itching and flaking. Y'all know the struggle of having your hair braided and your hair being itchy or flaking, and it's just really annoying, and you're patting your head all day every day, and it's just a really bad look. Y'all, I know the feeling, so I know y'all probably feel me too. But yeah, so definitely wash your hair just at least once every 2 weeks, if not more, but definitely for sure at least once every 2 weeks, because that way you're getting rid of buildup. Your hair is getting clean, which is creating a great foundation for your hair to grow, which we talked about earlier. And then also it just really helps to reduce any flaking, any just itchiness. It does all that. So my fourth tip is to try to invest in a light oil to apply to your scalp every night. So that way you minimize the risk of your scalp getting dry, because of course dry scalp equals dirty hair, and we do not want that at all. So make sure that you're applying a light oil, not too heavy, because of course we don't want to cause much buildup, but a light oil definitely will help to kind of minimize flaking, and that moisture will definitely transfer over to your braids, and it keeps your hair just moisturized throughout the entire time your hair is braided up. For my fifth tip, along with applying a light oil to your scalp, I would definitely go ahead and recommend you apply an edge serum or Jamaican black castor oil to your edges. Y'all, edges are so important. They can get so sensitive during protective styling. So we definitely want to make sure that we are not neglecting our edges at all. So we definitely want to make sure that our edges are, you know, oiled down and moisturized throughout the entire time frame. I personally apply Jamaican black castor oil faithfully every single night to my edges. I'll massage them for a few minutes. I'll make sure that they are just super moisturized and there's oil all over them. I am one of those girls that makes sure that my edges are totally oiled down. But you can also apply an edge serum. So if you have a certain favorite edge serum that you prefer, go ahead and apply that. But you definitely want to make sure that your edges are oiled and not just neglected in getting dry and frizzy, because if they're getting dry and frizzy, they are bound to break off at some point. My sixth tip is to make sure that our braids are not too tight. I know it's kind of hard to get a gauge to see how tight your braids will be until it's like completely done, but make sure that you're telling your stylist to be gentle and to not braid your hair too tight. I know that we like our styles to look fresh and look new, but trust me y'all, it's not worth having super tight braids, because that is just, it's bound to cause tons of breakage and tons of damage. Whenever your hair is braided super tight, there's a lot of tension on your hair, and that's just, it's going to pull your hair out, and that is just not a thing that we want to happen. We want our hair to be able to breathe and grow, not be pulled out. And whenever your hair is braided too tight, yes, I have experienced this like back in the day. I've actually had a sew-in before where the braids are too tight. I just took it down that night because there was no way I would have made it like more than 24 hours without my hair like falling out. So yeah, if your hair is too tight, you guys, it just is not, it's not fun. It's uncomfortable. It hurts. It's pulling your hair out. It's damaging your hair. It's just, it's all bad. If you are noticing that your hair is being braided too tight while getting your hair styled, make sure you stop your stylist and say, look, you're braiding way too tight. I need for you to calm down and braid a lot looser. My seventh tip is to make sure that you are covering your hair at night using a satin pillowcase, a satin scarf, a satin or a satin bonnet. Mainly because at nighttime, whenever you're sleeping, if you're sleeping on a rough cotton pillowcase, that pillowcase will just suck up all the moisture and all the natural oils from your hair, and you will be left with super frizzy and dry hair. And I know it's hard because we kind of like just fall asleep at night without thinking about putting on a scarf or whatever the case may be. But trust me, y'all, it is so important to go to sleep with something on your head that will actually keep the moisture in. So a satin pillowcase or a satin scarf or a satin bonnet, one of those things is definitely important, because that way it keeps the moisture sealed in and your hair will be fresh the next day. And of course, we want to minimize the amount of work that we have to do in the morning. So it keeps your style fresh, but it also really helps to maintain the moisture in your hair. My last tip is a tip that I feel like a lot of people struggle with, and that is to not keep our protective styles in for too long. I know it can be hard, you guys. Like, we pay all this money to get our hair done. We want to keep it in as long as possible, but our hair has to breathe. It has to breathe. I know it can be hard. Even for me, it'll be hard to like take my hair down in like 4 to 6 weeks. But trust me, you guys, our hair has to breathe, and it has to be fully clarified. It has to be shampooed. It has to be completely clean at some point. Our hair will stop growing, or it'll start to break off because of how dirty our hair is. So we definitely need to kind of like chill out a little bit and not keep our hair in for too long. So I personally think that 4 to 6 weeks is the perfect amount of time, because you get that good wear in, but it's not damaging your hair too much. Whenever you go past like that 2-month mark, you're bound to have issues. And it's always like 3 times harder to detangle hair that has been braided up for that long. Detangling will take forever. You'll get a ton of shedded hair. So trust me, you guys, keeping your hair in for about 4 to 6 weeks is good. take it out, wash it, give your hair a break, as in not doing things to your hair for about 2 weeks. Just let your natural curls flourish and just let them breathe for about a week or two, and then you can kind of reinstall the hair, whatever you want to do. Your curls will have time to kind of breathe and bounce back to its natural state before you reinstall your hair. If you go back to back to back, your hair's gonna be damaged because your hair is never having a chance to kind of like just be free and be out and grow and just do its thing. So you guys, that's it for today's hair tip video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Those are my tips for how to just maintain healthy hair while protective styling. I know it can be hard to think about your natural hair whenever your hair is kind of braided up and put away, but trust me y'all, it makes a huge difference whenever you're actually taking care of your natural hair underneath the extensions. I promise y'all, it makes a huge difference, because once your hair is actually out of its style, your curls will be bouncing and back to normal in no time. Although the extensions are cute and, you know, giving us a break, we want to make sure that we are keeping our natural hair, you know, healthy and growing, because that is what is growing out of our scalp. That is what is most important, and that's what we care about the most. If you all have any tips or recommendations to keeping your natural hair protected and healthy and growing while protective styling, go ahead and comment them down below, because of course I want to read them and I'm sure others do as well. So yeah, go ahead and comment those down below. As always, you guys have a wonderful day, and until next time, I will see you all later. Bye guys.